Hear this, mother.
Yes.
Greatness is serving.
Wow. That's deep, right?
It is
And this is Mark 10, and we're starting at verse 35.
35. Then James and John, the son of Zebedee, came to him, saying, Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask. Okay, you're right. I didn't need to read the rest. We want.
Wow, that's very demanding. I mean, it sounds demanding. So let's see what happens.
And he said to them, What do you want me to do for you?
Okay, it's fair.
They said to him, Grant us that we may sit, one on your right hand and the other on your left, in your glory. But Jesus said to them, Do you not know what you ask? Are you able to drink the cup that I drink, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? Shouldn't they? They should be able to be, right?
Well, I think he's talking about the death, his death and resurrect.
So he's like, Yeah, we want to be by your side. And he's like, Hey,
Are you
cool.
going to be crucified
Remember me telling you that I was going to die?
and be killed and spit on, like in the last verses in the last video or the last verses, right? He just told them, in case you didn't see the last video, behold, we are going to Jerusalem. This is Jesus speaking. And the Son of Man will be betrayed to the chief priests and to the scribes, and they will condemn him to death and deliver him to Gentiles. And they will mock him, scourge him, spit on him, and kill him. And the third day he will rise again. That's the good news. The
That's
last
what
sentence.
James and John are asking for.
It does, well, they didn't know that was what they're asking, but he's giving them the question, right?
He's just making sure they're sure. You know?
That they're sure. That's why you have to be careful what you ask for, right?
Right.
And I just had a thought because I don't know that I thought, but this is the same John. In my understanding, this is James, which is but John, the John that wrote the Gospel of John, I believe.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because he knew that Jesus loved him, but it's like us all. We all have the selfish things, maybe, or we ask wrong. We all mess up. Like Peter.
I definitely, if consciousness was like the tides of the ocean, and
And
to know
we
like at some points during the day you're going to be less conscious.
and we just totally like going from our flesh, kind of.
But if you're aware of it, then you can
Yes,
mitigate the effects of it.
right. And for sometimes, I mean, I know that when I am maybe hungry, they have sleepy, especially at nighttime, I'm probably not at my best where I would be, could agree or say things that are not make sense at all. Not the same patience.
Right. We're gremlins. We're
Yeah.
all gremlins. After 12 o'clock,
Or even 8 p.m.
8 p.m. My goodness. We are different gremlins, a little bit different time schedule. We
Yeah.
are European gremlins.
With the 5 hour difference, you mean? We're
Right,
like,
yes. And that way it checks out because it's
yeah,
12,
seven
5,
o'clock.
8. So,
All right. Yeah.
so they said to him, We are able.
Oh, oh.
So Jesus said to them, You will indeed drink the cup that I drink, and with the baptism I am baptized with, you will be baptized. But to sit on my right hand and my left is not mine to give, but it is for those whom it is prepared. And when the
Well,
10 heard it, they began to be greatly displeased with James and John for asking.
right, because they thought they could see that that wasn't. a good thing to ask, right? I think.
For whom it
And plus they
is.
want to, so they're kind of,
Or you think it was because,
they thought they were better than the other ones because here they are asking to be on the side of Jesus in heaven, right? The right hand and the
Jesus
left hand,
said
like
they could have taken it?
it could have been a jealousy, right? Or
Right, when it maybe had nothing to do with that. I think it's maybe just like a show of faith. But
mm,
that's really all it is at the end of the day, right? Is it is just a show of faith. And there's a stark difference between a show of faith and an act of faith.
mm. And then if you go back and you remember the title that was there, that was in your Bible. It's the titles on the things, they're not in every Bible, but in some Bibles it talked about being a servant. So then if you think about in relation to that, then that kind of gives you a different perspective, because if they're trying to be
Right, too, they would have been jealous because you're right. They're asking for, I mean, in
a
worldly
place
terms,
of honor in
position
a
of
way,
power.
yeah, power, honor,
All right.
instead of servanthood, right, in a way.
Right.
So let's see what Jesus says after that, because he knows that.
Right. But Jesus called them to himself and said to them, you know that those who considered rulers over the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. Yet it shall be so among you. But whoever desires to become great among you shall be your servant. And whoever of you desires to be first shall be slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many.
Wow,
So you're just here to serve.
you're just here to
Stop
serve.
worrying about what you want.
And
I
that's
agree.
humbling, isn't it? That is humbling. And our selfish thing is even like our self-preservation or whatever is trying to get, ahead, probably.
Right. And it's like there's a lot of things that I think would go back to selfish desires.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
You got a
Yes.
fine tooth microphone, microscopic phonograms. We're combing the desert
For
with
people.
peace. We're combing the desert for peace, right?